Musical history is a fascinating journey that spans thousands of years, shaped by different cultures, technological advancements, and creative minds. Let's take a look at some key moments and fun facts in the history of music. Music likely began in ancient times, with early humans using their voices, drums, and simple instruments to create sounds for rituals, celebrations, and communication. Over time, music became an integral part of religious ceremonies, storytelling, and community life. In ancient civilizations such as Egypt, Greece, and Rome, music played a central role in rituals and entertainment. The ancient Greeks even had a god of music, Apollo. These early cultures contributed to the development of various musical instruments, many of which laid the foundation for modern instruments. During the medieval period, from around 500 to 1400 AD, Western classical music began to emerge. One of the earliest forms of written music was the Gregorian chant, named after Pope Gregory XI. These chants were used in religious ceremonies and were primarily monophonic, meaning they consisted of a single melody with no harmony. The Renaissance period, which spanned from 1400 to 1600, marked a significant shift in music. Composers began to experiment with polyphony, creating music with multiple independent voices. This period also saw the development of music printing, which helped spread musical ideas across Europe. The Baroque era followed, lasting from 1600 to 1750, and brought us some of the most famous composers in history, such as Johann Sebastian Bach and George Friedrich Handel. The Classical period, from 1750 to 1820, introduced more structured and refined compositions. Composers like Wolfgang Amadeus Mozart and Ludwig van Beethoven pushed the boundaries of musical expression, creating symphonies, operas, and chamber music that remain staples of classical music today. In the 19th century, the Romantic period emerged, with composers like Pyotr Ilyich Tchaikovsky and Franz Schubert emphasizing emotion, nature, and personal experience. In their music, the Romantic era saw the rise of the symphonic poem and the expansion of orchestras, leading to grandiose performances. The early 20th century gave birth to jazz in New Orleans, blending African rhythms, European harmonies, and blues. Jazz quickly spread across the globe, with legends like Louis Armstrong and Duke Ellington becoming icons. This period also saw the birth of blues, a genre deeply rooted in African American experiences, and the rise of big bands, swing, and bebop. In the 1950s, rock and roll exploded onto the scene, with artists like Elvis Presley and Chuck Berry leading the charge. This new genre changed the face of music, influencing fashion, attitudes, and social movements. Rock music continued to evolve, with bands like the Beatles and the Rolling Stones shaping the sound of the 1960s. The Beatles, in particular, are one of the most influential bands in history. Their innovative approach to music, blending rock, pop, and experimental sounds, set the stage for modern music. In fact, the Beatles hold the record for the most #1 hits on the U.S. singles chart, with 20 songs reaching #1. The 1980s brought about a digital revolution in music, with synthesizers and electronic instruments changing the way music was created and produced. Genres like hip-hop, EDM, and synth-pop emerged, influenced by advances in technology and the rise of digital recording techniques. The internet also played a key role in making music more accessible, allowing artists to reach global audiences with just a few clicks. Did you know that Beethoven continued to compose music even after going deaf? Or that Michael Jackson's Thriller music video was the first to be inducted into the National Film Registry? Another fun fact, the shortest song ever recorded is You Suffer by Napalm Death, lasting just 1.316 seconds. As we look to the future, music continues to evolve with the rise of streaming platforms, making it easier for artists to share their work with the world. Artificial intelligence is also beginning to play a role in music creation, leading to new possibilities for musicians and listeners alike. Musical history is a rich and ever-changing story, filled with fascinating moments and creative innovations. Whether you're a fan of classical symphonies or modern pop hits, there's always more to explore in the world of music.